Hello, everyone. I'm Susan, and at 33 years old, I found myself grappling with significant personal challenges in the realm of love. After the disappointing end of my first marriage, I made a promise to protect my emotional well-being and steer clear of toxic relationships. Embracing a journey of self-healing and personal growth, I was determined to create a fulfilling partnership that would nourish my spirit. When I met my second husband, he seemed like the perfect match I had always envisioned. We shared a deep connection, and I truly believe we were meant to be together. However, as our relationship deepened, I encountered an unexpected hurdle: my mother-in-law, Carolyn. Her presence became a constant test of my resilience and strength. From the beginning, Carolyn tried to insert herself into our lives. She scrutinized my every move, critiqued my choices, and even attempted to dictate our decisions as a couple. But I stood firm. Having invested so much in my happiness, I refused to let anyone, even a mother-in-law, disrupt the peace I had fought so hard to create. Drawing from my journey of self-discovery, I confronted Carolyn directly, making it clear that her interference was unwelcome. My resolve was met with resistance. Carolyn was a formidable opponent, challenging my boundaries at every turn. Her persistent overreach, including inappropriate comments about joining us on our honeymoon, highlighted her lack of respect for our independence. Determined to uphold the boundaries I had established, I knew it was time to teach Carolyn a lesson about respecting limits. This was essential for her to understand the consequences of her actions. Carolyn's behavior was more than a personal annoyance. It threatened the stability of my marriage, and I was prepared to protect it at all costs. As I navigated these new challenges, I found myself grappling with her overbearing nature. Carolyn had a peculiar way of showing her affection, often overshadowing our moments with her excessive involvement. During family gatherings, which were typically relaxed backyard barbecues, she would often joke about joining us on our honeymoon to capture beautiful moments, or teasingly suggest she might take my place next to Stephen. At first, I dismissed these comments as harmless fun, laughing them off like everyone else. However, her relentless jokes hinted at something deeper. Was she truly joking? The idea seemed absurd. What kind of mother-in-law would genuinely consider intruding on her son's honeymoon? But as time passed, I began to realize that Carolyn might be more serious than I initially thought. This realization hit me hard on my wedding day as I prepared in the dressing room, excitement coursing through me for the life ahead with Stephen. The room buzzed with joy and anticipation when suddenly the door swung open and Carolyn's imposing figure appeared, casting a shadow over the festivities. I turned to face her, trying to keep my smile intact despite the unease growing within me. Without hesitation, Carolyn launched into conversation. "Susan, I need to talk to you," she began, her gaze intense. "Are you truly happy?" Her question caught me off guard. Of course, I was happy, overjoyed, in fact. Stephen was the love of my life, and our wedding was a celebration of our mutual affection and commitment. "I couldn't be happier," I replied, my voice brimming with sincerity. "Stephen and I are thrilled to be starting our lives together." This encounter was just another example of how Carolyn's presence could be unsettling and oddly direct, challenging the boundaries I had worked so hard to establish. As I eagerly anticipated our honeymoon, a well-deserved break after months of meticulous planning, I was unaware that Carolyn had other ideas. As I adjusted my veil in the mirror, Carolyn leaned in closer, lowering her voice to a mischievous whisper. "About the honeymoon, I've decided to come along. It'll be a surprise for Stephen, but let's keep it between us." Her words crashed over me like a wave. Was she serious? "Wait, Carolyn, are you really planning to join us on our honeymoon?" I asked, hoping for clarity or reassurance that this was just another of her peculiar jokes. Carolyn's face was a mask of determination. "Yes, Susan. I've always dreamed of experiencing a romantic getaway like this. I'm his mother, and I've been there for all his milestones. It's important for me to be there. It'll be a bonding experience for all of us." Her words struck me with their audacity. Our honeymoon was meant to be a private journey for Stephen and me, a sacred opportunity to create intimate memories as a newly married couple, not a family excursion. I struggled to find the right words, fighting to keep my composure. I replied, "Carolyn, this is our honeymoon. It's a time for us to deepen our bond and focus solely on each other. While I appreciate your enthusiasm, it's crucial to respect our boundaries." Her expression shifted from surprise to disappointment, clearly not expecting my firm objection. Susan, I only want what's best for Stephen. I thought this would be a special surprise for him, a way to bring us closer as a family. Taking a deep breath, I summoned the inner strength I had cultivated through my journey of self-discovery. Carolyn, I understand and respect your love for Stephen, but our honeymoon is sacred. It's a time for us to nurture our relationship and create memories that will lay the foundation for our future together. Stating my ground was essential, not just for our honeymoon, but for establishing a tone of respect and independence in our marriage. I hoped Carolyn would accept our wishes, but the tension thickened in the air as she processed that her plans had been thwarted. It was a defining moment, a test of our new dynamic, and in that instant, I felt empowered, having taken a crucial step in safeguarding my marriage and establishing a foundation of love and respect. You might think that would be the end of the story, right? Unfortunately, my friends, it didn't stop there. As the day of our departure approached, excitement and nervousness fluttered in my heart. Stephen and I were on the verge of embarking on our eagerly awaited honeymoon, a chance to relax and revel in our newlywed bliss. However, a looming storm threatened to overshadow our joy. It was the morning we were set to leave when Carolyn's name appeared on my phone. Taking a deep breath, I answered, bracing myself for whatever she might say. Hello, Carolyn. Dear, I've decided to join you and Stephen on your honeymoon. Isn't that thrilling? Her voice chirped through the phone, sending a wave of frustration over me. Hadn't we already settled this? My voice tightened with exasperation as I responded, Carolyn, we've been through this. This honeymoon is a special time for Stephen and me. We need space to strengthen our relationship as a married couple. Her reply was casual, almost dismissive of my concerns. Yes, dear, but I've made up my mind. I'm coming along. It'll be a grand adventure for all of us. You'll see. With my patience thinning, I asserted more firmly, Carolyn, this isn't up for negotiation. Stephen and I planned this trip as a private getaway. You need to respect that boundary. A tense silence followed, punctuated only by the distant hum of anticipation. I sensed Carolyn's frustration mounting, but I stood firm in my refusal. Don't be so dramatic, Susan. Now tell me, you two are going to Switzerland, right? I've already booked my ticket. I know it was last minute, so I won't be on the same flight, but I'll meet you there. Her words echoed in my mind, but they also presented an opportunity, a chance to steer Carolyn's plans away to reclaim our honeymoon as the sacred space it was meant to be for Stephen and me. I believed that everyone could learn and change, but sometimes it took a bold move to spark that transformation. I was ready to make the move that would ensure our honeymoon remained ours alone. I had already made it clear to Carolyn that I wasn't interested in engaging in a tiresome back and forth with my in-laws. I needed to maintain the peace, so when faced with her unwavering determination to join us, I decided to take a creative approach to protect our private time. Keeping my cool and masking my frustration, I responded with a quick bit of thinking. Actually, Carolyn, there seems to be a misunderstanding. We're headed to New Zealand, not Switzerland. Her reaction was immediate, a gasp escaping her as she processed the sudden twist. Oh my, I must have misunderstood. Yes, I'll need to change my flight right away. Thank you for letting me know, Susan. Absolutely. Change that flight to Auckland, New Zealand, I replied, adding a subtle nudge. And yes, last-minute changes can be pricey, but I know you'd do anything for Stephen. Little did she know, Stephen and I were actually bound for Switzerland. I felt no remorse for the deception. It was a necessary act to preserve our much-needed privacy. Carolyn hurried off to adjust her travel plans, and as I ended the call, a slight smile spread across my face. For now, our honeymoon was safe from any unwanted interference. With each passing minute, my sense of relief grew. Stephen and I were free to start our journey without the looming presence of Carolyn's meddling. It was a small victory, but a significant one, proving my resolve to protect what was sacred to us. As our plane descended into Switzerland, the excitement between us was palpable. The breathtaking landscapes, historic architecture, and vibrant culture awaited us. Stepping off the plane, Stephen exclaimed in awe, Susan, look at this view. Can you believe we're actually in Switzerland? It's even more beautiful than I imagined. I know, Stephen. It feels like we've stepped right into a fairy tale. I can't wait to explore everything, I replied, equally enchanted by the setting. We arrived at our charming hotel in the heart of Geneva, immediately taken by its elegant decor and cozy ambience. The city buzzed with history, art, and music, and we were eager to dive into this cultural feast. This hotel is incredible, Susan. Great choice, Stephen remarked, appreciating the atmosphere that promised to make our honeymoon memorable. Indeed, we're here to immerse ourselves in the beauty of Geneva, celebrating our new life together in a place as magical as our dreams. I'm really glad you like it, babe. I wanted our stay to be perfect, I responded, thrilled by Stephen's appreciation. As soon as we arrived, our excitement overcame our weariness. Hand in hand, we walked through the enchanting streets of Geneva, soaking in the grandeur of the Palais des Nations and savoring delicious confections from the charming local cafes. Stephen, can you believe the beauty of this place? The Alps are breathtaking, I exclaimed, my heart full of joy. I'm blown away, Susan. This is a dream come true. Thank you for planning such an amazing honeymoon, Stephen exclaimed, his eyes shining with happiness. Exhausted but fulfilled, we returned to our hotel, deciding to rest before continuing our adventure. As Stephen headed for the shower, my phone rang. It was Carolyn. Hey Carolyn, that's great. I hope you have a safe flight, I said, trying to keep my tone upbeat. Oh my gosh, I can hardly contain my excitement. I can't believe you're actually joining us in Auckland. We're going to have the most incredible time together at the Oceanfront Hotel. You won't believe the breathtaking views of the harbor. Carolyn gushed. I maintained my facade with enthusiasm. Oh dear Carolyn, I'm equally thrilled to embark on this adventure with you. I'm so glad you finally came to your senses and saw the beauty in me tagging along on your honeymoon. I knew you'd be understanding, Carolyn replied, her voice brimming with satisfaction. I rolled my eyes but kept up the act. Absolutely, Carolyn, you're so right. The flight may be a bit tiresome, but trust me, Auckland will captivate your heart with its vibrant cityscape, the iconic opera house, and stunning beaches. You'll be in awe. Oh, that sounds marvelous. I simply can't wait to experience it all. Susan, I hope Stephen is ready for some quality mother-son bonding time. This trip will give us a chance to connect on a deeper level, she continued, blissfully unaware of the mix-up. Carolyn, when Stephen sees you, be over the moon. It's going to be an unforgettable journey filled with laughter, exploration, and beautiful memories, I assured her, masking my true feelings about the situation. That warms my heart, Susan. I'm eager to create lasting memories with both of you. Rest assured, once I land in Auckland, I'll reach out to you immediately. That will be our signal to commence this grand adventure, Carolyn concluded. Perfect, Carolyn. The moment you touch down, give me a call and we'll coordinate our plans, I said, ending the call with a sense of relief, knowing our actual destination remained just between Stephen and me. As I hung up, a playful twinge of mischief washed over me. The thought of Carolyn discovering we were actually in Switzerland, not New Zealand, sparked gleeful anticipation within me. I hope this mix-up would serve as a powerful lesson in respecting boundaries and allowing my marriage to Stephen to blossom without her overbearing involvement. The prospect of Carolyn's forthcoming surprise added an exciting layer to our Swiss adventure, heightening the joy bubbling in my spirit. It felt a bit like a game, but the desire to share an unencumbered journey with Stephen, crafting memories meant just for us, was too enticing to resist. However, as I hung up, a mix of relief and anxiety began to settle in. Stephen emerged from the shower, noticing my distracted state. What's going on? He asked, sensing the shift in my mood. My initial delight faded, replaced by a twinge of guilt about the entire escapade. I hadn't fully considered how Stephen might feel about the deceptive tactic I employed against his mother. The last thing I wanted was to sow seeds of deceit at the start of our new life together. Taking a deep breath, I decided it was time to come clean. Stephen, I have to confess something, I began, the words heavy on my tongue. Is everything okay? He asked, concern etching his brow. Not exactly, I admitted. You know how Carolyn always joked about tagging along on our honeymoon? Well, she was serious. She intended to join us. His expression shifted from worry to disbelief. What the hell? I told her that was out of the question because this time is meant for just us. I know, I said, my voice faltering, but she wouldn't take no for an answer, so I mistled her about our destination. Instead of arguing, I told her we were going to Auckland, hoping it would keep her from intruding on our privacy. I recounted the whole story, apologizing at every turn. I didn't want Stephen to think I was manipulative or cruel. I simply wanted to safeguard our time together from his mother's overbearing ways. He was silent for a moment after I finished, leaving me anxious about his reaction. Then, to my surprise, he burst into laughter, his genuine amusement filling the room and easing my tension. You sly fox, Susan. I can't believe you did that. Honestly, it's a relief. My mom's interference has always been exhausting. Now we can truly enjoy our time together. Wait, so you're not mad? I asked, surprised yet relieved. I'm not thrilled about sending her to a foreign country, he chuckled, but I find the whole situation hilarious. I'm just picturing her face when she realizes the mix-up. We both laughed together, feeling a renewed sense of unity. With the weight of the situation lightened, we immersed ourselves in the beauty of Switzerland, exploring its rich history, breathtaking landscapes, and vibrant culture. Each moment deepened our bond and created cherished memories. Meanwhile, Carolyn remained blissfully unaware that her son found the situation amusing and was in on the ruse. Exhausted from her flight, she called us, expecting us to pick her up from the airport. Hey Carolyn, Stephen and I are together right now. There's something you need to know. We're not in New Zealand. We're actually in Switzerland, I said, putting the phone on speaker. But you said Auckland, the oceanfront hotel. Carolyn stammered, confusion evident in her voice. Yeah, that was all a trick, Carolyn. Sorry about that, but you really needed to learn, I explained firmly. A trick for what? What did I do? She exclaimed, disbelief rising in her tone. You kept trying to insert yourself into our honeymoon? What kind of mother does that? When you insisted on tagging along, instead of fighting with you about it, I decided to let you believe what you wanted. This way, I could enjoy some quality time with my husband. How could you do this, Susan? I trusted you. You're no good for my son. Carolyn's hurt was palpable. Stephen, who had been listening intently, finally spoke up. Mom, it's time you understand that meddling in our lives and disregarding Susan's boundaries has consequences. This was her way of setting a boundary. What? You too? Carolyn's voice cracked as she absorbed his stance. This moment, fraught with tension, underscored our commitment to each other and the importance of respecting our new family unit. I can't believe you're taking her side. I can't believe you've deceived me like this. I raised you. I've been there for you through everything. Carolyn's voice trembled with hurt. Mom, this isn't about deception. It's about setting boundaries, I replied, trying to convey the necessity of our actions. Susan and I are building our lives together. You must respect our choices and let us forge our path. We love you, but maintaining healthy boundaries is key. Her voice echoed through the phone, loud enough to attract attention nearby. You've humiliated me. I can't believe my son would turn against me like this. Carolyn, please try to see where we're coming from, I urged, my tone steady yet empathetic. This wasn't done to embarrass you. We need to make it clear that we require our own space and independence. It's time for you to let us build our lives and respect the boundaries we've established. I don't want to hear it. You both are selfish and ungrateful. She shot back, her frustration palpable. Call me back when you're ready to have a real conversation. With that, she abruptly ended the call, leaving herself likely bewildered and upset at the airport. While I might have felt guilty, instead, I felt relieved. Standing up for our marriage's boundaries was necessary, even if uncomfortable. Wanting privacy in our honeymoon wasn't unreasonable. It was unusual for a mother to insist on tagging along. Stephen, are you all right with how things turned out? I asked, concerned about his feelings. Yes, Susan, don't worry about Mom. She's embarrassed and frustrated. But maybe this will finally show her that her behavior isn't okay. She needs to respect our boundaries, whether she likes it or not, he reassured me, his tone resolute yet caring. As we continued our honeymoon in Switzerland, enjoying the stunning vistas and cultural delights, the issue with Carolyn receded into the background. We decided she would contact us when she was ready to reconcile, and perhaps she would make something of her unplanned trip to New Zealand. Regardless, I felt confident she'd think twice before trying to interfere with our plans in the future.